Well, the Pittsburgh Penguins got away with one, perhaps, as they beat the Philadelphia Flyers 4-2 Sunday here at PPG Paints Arena. Hi, I'm Dan Kingerski on the National Hockey Now and the Pittsburgh Hockey Now YouTube channel. Before we get rolling here on this little post-game Q&A and kind of post-game wrap, do me a favor, like and subscribe over here. And you get notified for these live chats that will be coming up this summer and even from the road if there are the playoffs. With the big win on Sunday, the Penguins did vault over the over the Florida Panthers. So what a crazy day it was. Look, everybody woke up on Sunday morning, doom and gloom. The Penguins were behind the Florida Panthers, way behind the Islanders. 3 hours later, the Penguins are 1 point ahead of Florida. 1 point, just 1 point behind the New York Islanders. And you can see behind me a little charity game going on here with with some Penguin sponsors and such. But what a shift 1 day makes. And what do you think of the new blazer? I got it just for TV purposes. I think it's a tax write-off too. I get to do stuff like that now. or not, my accountant will tell me, no, you're an idiot. But let's get into the game here, because I did not score the Penguins skaters very well on Sunday. Brian Rust had a pretty good game. I thought Sidney Crosby was strong. I thought Ricard Raquel was, in full magician mode. I thought the Penguins defense, by and large, was pedestrian, mediocre, and the pairing with Jeff Petrie and P.O. Joseph. Now, let me stop everybody right there. It's kind of funny how Penguins fans pick somebody and just everybody piles on. I saw P.O. getting the treatment on Sunday. I'm going to tell you, those were a lot of Petrie's mistakes. You see it on TV where Joseph is reacting, but I assure you, Joseph was reacting to mistakes or open areas that shouldn't have been there. That was not Jeff Petrie's game on Sunday. He's certainly been a lot better this season. And probably just a blip, but for such a big game, you need your big guns. And Petrie being a top four defenseman, he earned a little bit of a kick. Put the boots to him just a little bit. That first goal pretty much on him for whiffing and then kind of not being anywhere near the puck after he whiffed on it along the wall. So let's get to the Q&A part here. By the way, I'm going to compliment the guy from Pittsburgh Hockey Now who commented Saturday afternoon before the game with Boston that as soon as Brian Rust got on the score sheet, he was going to get them in bunches. That guy was pretty smart sometimes. Rust had 3 goals this weekend, 2 on Saturday, 1 just a real beaut on Sunday. You can read a bit more about that in the PHN Plus report card. So let's get right to the Q&As here. JC, who is the biggest threat to overtake the Penguins? Well, obviously Florida. But if you look past Florida, Buffalo could close. Buffalo can stay within that 3-point range. Wake up one day, they could be 1 point back because they've got a game in hand. So Buffalo is definitely one to watch. They're going to have to win 5 of their 6 and hope the Penguins and Panthers stumble a little bit. But there's something about that Buffalo team. I'm just telling you. If not this year, good Lord, look out for them next year. They're a pretty solid playoff bet next year. Everybody wanted to ask. I got 3 or 4 questions. What did Gino do? Well, you saw. I think Mike Sullivan kind of brusquely answered that question in the post-game presser. Malkin got tabbed with 3 penalties, including a high sticking. He got high sticked along the wall. Let the referees know he got high sticked and they didn't call it. So they got a little mad. They gave him 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike conduct. So he came off the bench. Now, we couldn't hear what he said. And we kind of talked to some of the people at ice level and nobody really heard what he said. He certainly said it with a little bit of emphasis. He put a little stank on it. And Dan O'Rourke, the referee, just gave one of these. And that was the end. Now, unfortunately, the scorers tabulate or put it on the score sheet as a 10-minute misconduct. It was actually a game misconduct, so that was a little bit of a mistake there. But what did he do? He spoke when he shouldn't have. And I suppose I'm as guilty of that as anybody. However, in such an important game, such an important player, such an important moment, it would have behooved Malkin just to shut up. It would have behooved Malkin to put his team first rather than his emotions. He got carried away, and that was the end. I mean, look, the Penguins almost coughed that up. The Penguins almost gagged away another third period lead. Somebody on Twitter accused me of being dramatic. No, I don't believe so. The Penguins had a 3-0 lead. It was 3-2. And Philadelphia in the offensive zone in the final 5 minutes. That should not happen. They were that close. Once again, Casey DeSmith had to make another save before Ryan Poehling put the puck in the empty net for the 4-2 win. Philadelphia, the sixth worst team in the NHL. You cannot let a team with nothing to play for back in the game like that. And the Penguins did. So am I being dramatic? If this were a one-off, yeah, I would be a little bit over the top if I were kicking them this hard for a bad third period. But this is one of the worst third period teams in the league, and they have to. If they have any hope of making the playoffs, if they have any hope of doing anything in the playoffs, they can't stink in the third period as they've done this season. These walkabouts and gifts to the opponent can't happen. So what did Gino do? I guess specifically as you ask, who did ask that, by the way? Oh, Grace asked that. So what did he specifically do? He popped off in the wrong moment, the wrong situation. Obviously, he said the wrong thing. What did he do in a larger sense? He put his team shorthanded, both for 2 minutes and in roster, because then they had to shuffle everybody up. Now you're playing with 11 forwards for most of 18 minutes. That's what Malkin did. Question number 3. Aaron says, I'm glad the Pens won, but any other team, ... Yeah, if that were a better team than the Philadelphia Flyers, that probably is a different result on Sunday. Casey DeSmith saved the Penguins' bacon. And Aaron, I agree with you wholeheartedly there. It wasn't convincing, especially in the third period. No, I think that's actually a very good phrase I might steal, Aaron. It wasn't convincing. You hoped the Penguins would dispatch the Philadelphia Flyers. You hoped they would just broom them out of the arena with everything on the line like that. And instead, Casey DeSmith had to, I don't want to say he stole the game, but I would say he was their best player. Number 4, Roman. This should be a tame Q&A because everyone did their jobs at least passably. I would say the Penguins' defense did not necessarily do their jobs passably. They were hanging by a thread. I would say that, look, 3 of 4 Penguins lines were out-attempted. Like, they had a negative Corsi. Only the Malkin line had a positive Corsi. Only the Crosby line had a positive high-danger scoring chance ratio. There was a lot. I mean, look, it was a win. I wasn't going to go into the locker room and start raining negativity on everybody's parade. I got what I needed. I kind of asked, some specific questions about the playoff race and certain things. But if you're asking me to analyze the game in a positive fashion, I don't think I would. I think the Flyers outplayed them. And I think the under-talented or less talented Flyers outplayed them. And that is not what I wanted to see on Sunday. right, number 5, El Fusco, who's been a regular contributor. Appreciate you. DeSmith was great on Sunday. Do you start DeSmith on Tuesday in New Jersey? And by the way, Dave and I flipped. I'll be headed to New Jersey so that I can be live on the TV next Saturday, 11 on the ice. Borky is literally covering the game, which is at 1 o'clock. You know, they'll probably get on the charter plane somewhere around 4:30, rush back to Pittsburgh, and he'll be on the air at 7:30. I do not get the benefit of a charter flight. So I could drive 120 miles an hour from Detroit to Pittsburgh and hope I make it back by 7:30, or I can ask Dave Molinari to switch off. Dave will take Detroit next weekend, and I'm taking Newark. Anywho, do I start DeSmith on Tuesday? No, I do not. I put Tristan Jarry. I thought Jarry was pretty good against Boston, and I think we've talked about this before. I'm increasingly impressed with DeSmith, especially on Sunday. He was quiet. And by quiet, I remember when Matt Murray was on his game. Little bit, just very little movement, right? So you can see behind me, lots of movement. But Murray would just seem to just very small movements and take up lots of the net. I think DeSmith did a lot of that on Sunday. He didn't overcommit and lose his post. He didn't go sliding this way or sliding that way. Here, we'll go. He didn't do that on Sunday. And when DeSmith is still and steady, quiet, he's actually kind of a 1A goalie. But the problem is there's too many of those clunkers in between, like Tuesday in Detroit, when he was kind of sliding too much and giving up some soft goals. For the Penguins to legitimately have a playoff run, they need Tristan Jarry. They need Jarry on his A game, and Jarry did nothing on Saturday to cost himself the net on Tuesday. Having said that, I think both goalies have a very short leash. I would not hesitate to go to DeSmith either if you think Jarry is shaky after the first period, say it's like 2-1 or something like that, and if you feel like he's not on his game, I wouldn't hesitate to go to DeSmith then. I also wouldn't hesitate to turn to DeSmith for a start if you're a little bit unsure of Jarry. Now, some observers, I am not one of them, thought Jarry tweaked a little something when he made the diving save late in the Boston game. I didn't see him sort of stumble or struggle to get back up, but others said and reported such. I'll just leave it out there. Neither confirming nor denying, neither adding validity or what's the word I'm looking for? Validity, or I'm neither besmirching or countering that report. I'm just acknowledging its existence, and I suppose we'll see on Tuesday if there was anything to that. But no, they need Jarry, and the only way to get Jarry on point is to put him on the ice. And he was, like I said, he was good on Saturday. He wasn't brilliant. He wasn't Jeremy Swayman, but he was solid, and that's a good step in the right direction. So, I'm not sure if you'll see this before I hop on the TV. I'm filming this at about 10:30 p.m. Sunday before I head out of the arena up to the TV station to do the final word. We'll talk some Pirates. I hate when they do that to me because I've had zero chance to see the Pirates this season. I can talk Penguins out the wazoo, but the Pirates, they keep playing during Penguins games. We'll have to talk to Major League Baseball about that. All right, so like, subscribe, enjoy, comment, hate, whatever you need to do. I'm Dan Kingerski on the Pittsburgh Hockey Now and the National Hockey Now YouTube channel.